All right, what's going on, guys? I recorded a podcast with my buddy Tate. You can't really hear the audio that great on this, so my apologies. My best, I have the hiccups, sorry. So try to probably hit closed captions on YouTube. That should clear up some of the confusion. But I mean, you can understand it. It's just not that crisp. I don't have any microphones yet, so working on getting those, so very sorry and apologies in advance. But Tate has MS, multiple sclerosis, you know what I'm saying? Multiple sclerosis or something like that. I know that's not how you say it, but anyway, working on some new content for you in 2024. I hope you'll enjoy this. I recorded this probably a couple months ago, to be quite honest with you, but trying to get better about posting more consistently. So about to record my stretching video. I know I've been promising that for years, so I'm gonna get to it. But yeah, I hope y'all enjoy the episode, and let me know if you want more interviews like this. So jeez, man. Anyway, hope you'll have a great day. Enjoy the show. Thanks. For the people who don't really know what MS is, can you kind of give us a basic idea of what that is?
Very basic one I can use.
Okay.
All right. So basically, it's a nerve disease. It's an autoimmune nerve disease. So your whole body, we have a nervous system connected to your brain, your spinal cord, everything. And around those nerves, you have a coating. I think it's called myelin.
Okay.
And basically, with this autoimmune disease, your body's attacking that myelin and just eating away at the coating, so it's bare nerve, and get very susceptible to sicknesses, diseases, and all of this. And so that's basically what happens,
Okay.
short term, and it causes brain lesions or spinal lesions on either your brain or in your spine. Like me, I think about 3 in my brain and 1 or 2 on my spine, but none of them at this time are active. So
Okay.
they basically you can have active lesions and non.
Okay.
And that's where we're not going to get into, because obviously I don't know.
Right.
There's multiple different forms of MS.
Right.
I know mine is it's like relapsing, so I'm not always constantly with a lesion going on.
Okay. Are those people there's people who always have a lesion going on?
I believe so.
Okay.
Or again, I didn't go to
You didn't go to
medical school.
Yeah.
They wouldn't let me in.
Right.
So that's basically mine.
Mhm.
And with this, it does cause neuropathy in your hands. Like I have really bad neuropathy in these 2 fingers, or basically this whole hand, and then these 2 fingers, and then my forearms.
Okay.
And my legs. So it's basically,
Yeah.
and that neuropathy, again, just my terms, is like when your arm falls asleep. You know that feeling when your arm falls asleep? It's like that all the time.
Oh wow.
Very slightly, like it's not as in depth, but like that's how you would baseline it.
Okay, got you.
So yeah.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So when did you start experiencing symptoms from this?
I would say about 2 years ago. About 2 years ago, like right before meeting you. I would say about 6 months. So we've known each other about 2 years. So
Yeah.
2.5 years.
Okay.
One day, I woke up and kind of noticed that I wear glasses, so I was like, okay, maybe I haven't gone in a while. My eyes are messing up. And then I walked out of my house, and I looked down to where our stairwell was, and I could see everything was doubled and side.
Oh wow.
So I was like, that is weird. And I didn't really notice, and then I got in my car and was trying to drive, and I was like, something's wrong. I can't see. And so went to the eye doctor. They were like, oh, that's weird, because usually if you're going to see double, it happens earlier in life, and it just happened late.
Yeah.
He got me Prism, but my eye doctor was like, hey, I need you to go to your PCP. And so I went to my PCP, which is primary care physician.
Okay.
And he was like, hey, let's get an MRI. So I go to a pretty good one here in College Station. I don't know if they know where we live, but now they do. Yeah, I went to he got an MRI, and it was weird because I had noticed like in my like I had like really bad congestion where like it just had like it's gonna sound ridiculous, but it smelled like you could like when you have a snot bubble and you can smell that smell.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't smell off. You can tell you're sick.
Yeah.
And it was just there, and I was like, okay, what's going on? And like I got the MRI, and he had mentioned, do you feel a lot of like congestion here? I was like, yeah. Could it be pushing on my optic nerve? And he didn't really say anything, and I was like, okay, cool. A couple days go by, my PCP calls me. He's like, you have MS, you have multiple sclerosis. And my heart dropped because I thought I like MS and ALS.
Oh, okay.
You know, those two can like, and just everyone, like my friends and my mom, and like, they all thought it was that, and so I was freaking out a little bit. I was like, okay. Then it's still a major disease. It's not as life threatening as that one is.
Sure.
But, you know.
That's scary.
It's still scary, very much so. So that's about like how I found out, and like it was just kind of like one of those things where just like one day just triggered everything.
Jeez.
Just different.
Wow. Yeah, that's pretty different from like scoliosis, because like, I mean, yeah, you're like you find out about it. Like I was diagnosed when I was like 14.
Right.
And then like I went in because my back just started gradually like hurting more and more and more, and we were like, well, why is this happening? And that's kind of what started with that. But for you, it's like one day I'm normal and the next day it's like completely different, which is I think in a lot of ways worse. It's just because like it's so out of the blue.
Yeah, I would imagine. I mean, granted, let's gonna get this cat. Oh yeah, I'm gonna take this. You're no more water for you right now. So that's going over here. I wonder if they can see that cat. It's whatever.
Yeah,
we'll figure it out. And so, but yeah, no, but like yes and no, because I mean you still hitting it. You were 14. You're so young, and I would imagine. I don't know about your chronic, but like it's something you were born with.
Yeah.
Like you were like so like you kind of know what's gonna happen, and you know you still you seem, and it's just like me. We all seem okay on the outside, but no one actually knows what's going on internally with us.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, it sure, I guess, but at the same time, you know, we're all gonna go through it, and we're all going through it, and like life's just gonna happen, and it is, and it's this for you, and it's this for me, but it's something else for somebody. We're all just kind of living with chronic pain, and like we notice that, you know, the one thing I can take away from this is like you don't know what anyone's going through, so it's kind of like it has opened my eyes to that aspect of like, yo, be happier or be more empathetic of people and things you do.
Yeah, that's.
I don't know if that answered your question.
No, yeah, I mean, I think that was a great kind of message, and that's kind of like what we like to talk about on here. Just kind of like things that, you know, maybe it's not going to help everybody, but maybe it'll help a few people.
Right.
Just, you know, and that, just having that perspective. Right. So for my next question, I wanted to ask you was, with, you know, you just got this disease, right? And I'm assuming you're pretty mentally messed up from this. I don't know if you were going to the gym at the time when you got this, or how did that kind of look, adapting?
I was. I would say at that time, I don't know, full like in depth my personal life you want to go, but like I was going through some things, and I was going to the gym. That was kind of like my safe space. So yeah, I was, and the main thing that they had told me at that time was keep going, listen to my body. Obviously, I think that was their main thing, and of course, you know, everyone in my life on the outside, my mom, my dad, my girlfriend at the time, were just like, "What are you like? You don't do it. You know, you don't know yet. You don't know." And so, but it was just something I had to do, kind of like thing. It was like there was no, everything was kind of like, it felt like everything was getting taken away, or not taken away, but so much uncertainty that the one certainty that I knew I wanted to do and could do was that. And so I just kept going, and then, you know, we had met you, and you had talked about your scoliosis. Right? That's how you say that?
That's how you say it.
I always forget. It's just like, fine. I was just gonna say, because like it was like, remember that one time I was like, you got spina bifida, and you were like, I got scoliosis. I was like, that's, I mean, you know, you don't, if you don't know, because like people don't know, like, what's MS? You don't think about it, because like you just, we have these things, and that's like, it's either our, not like our label, but like it's how like, okay, it's all the same thing. Oh, you you know what I'm saying? Like earlier, the ALS, like you know, it's just like it's these. They kind of match, 100%. And so like people are just like, oh, it's that, when you're just like, no, it's not. Like they're probably like, no, it's not. Tate.
Well, I have ADD, which is not attention deficit disorder. It's adolescent dysplasia. So I totally get what you're saying.
Right?
It's like, no, that's not what that means.
But I don't even know what we're talking.
We were talking about like.
Continue going to the gym. So we had talked, and you had talked about, you know, your chronic illness and how you kept going, and just you push yourself, but you know when to not push yourself, and you know it hurts, but you know what hurts good and what hurts bad.
Right.
And you know when to, I'm stopping, like, hey, I gotta take a couple days off. And granted, at that time it was still early stages of like diagnosis, talking to one neurologist, because you have to have a neurologist, obviously, a brain doctor.
Mm-hmm.
It's a brain disease. It's a brain nerve disease.
Right.
I don't want to quoting that because it is.
Okay.
But so like you have this information, and then it was a transition into, I'm going to this like a neurologist in the specialty of multiple sclerosis now.
Okay.
And so talking with him, it was like he was very much if you can do it.
Mm-hmm.
You listen to your body, because it is, if your body gets overheated with MS, that triggers it. All of everything. If you get overheated, it triggers the neuropathy really bad.
Mm-hmm.
Another one of my triggers is like my eye this eye will turn in.
Mm-hmm.
My eye will start turning in. Like, and so you kind of know when it's like, okay, I need to stop, cool down, just cool down.
Yeah.
But all of my neurologists is like, hey, push yourself if you can.
Yeah.
And again, it's very much because your body won't get weaker from that, and you know, you can tell the deterioration.
Yeah.
And I always say it like this: I don't know what 10 years from today looks like with this sickness, but I know what it is right now, and I know I can push myself hard right now. That I'm gonna do that.
That's great, man. Yeah.
So,
that's a great message. I mean, you've said that better than, like, I've always meant to say what you just said, but I never knew how to put it into words. So I appreciate that.
No problem all the time. And that's how you have to look at it. And that's how I've looked at everything since this. Is just if I have a means now, I'm gonna experience life, and we have to take that, cherish it so much more if you can. You know what I'm saying? Like, recently I'm like, I finally renewed my passport. Like, I'm gonna go to Europe next year, and it's like those things. It's like, I don't know how much longer I can do those things. Not even just like means to an end, like means wise, but like traveling. What does this look like for, like, am I ever going to walk across the Great Wall of China?
Yeah.
I know I can in the next 5 years, so go do that in the next 5 years.
Right.
Because I don't, you know, and it is different for everyone, you know, what they can do. But I think my message to tell everyone is like, what you can do is the best that you can do. Just keep doing that best you can do as much as you can, because if you don't, then you're just gonna deteriorate. You're letting the thing hold you back. Then, I guess I'll put it like this. My mom said, people that are religious or not, it's a good message. Is like, don't ask why me. You ask why, or you don't ask why me and why. It's like, why not me? Why am I not strong? I am strong enough to live. I cannot let this define me. Why not me? Why somebody else? You know, it happened, and why not? Look at the best thing, or how it's gonna make your life keep going forward.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's like, if you can't look at it as like something that's gonna hold you back.
Yeah.
You know, it can make you better.
Yeah.
Because like, look, right now, you're this whole thing right now is what that shows. It's like you're taking what was God give you, and you're spreading it to your audience and to somebody who knows. One person might see this and think, heck yeah, these guys can do it, and that makes that one person continue.
Yeah,
and that's it. That's all that it's worth it.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I totally agree with that. Yeah, I think it's super important because, like, I mean, I want to title another video called "Waging War on Victimhood Mentality," just because I think most of Americans don't really want to solve the problem. They just want to be a victim because there's power in that. And I could kind of say like, well, I have scoliosis, so and my back hurts, so I'll just live with my parents and play video games and but I mean, there's all sorts of different situations. But for me, and I think for the majority of people, they need to stop thinking about being a victim.
Yeah, I mean, I get that. I get where you're coming from, and it is, but it's also a hard play. It's hard to, because like it goes into your mental, like it does. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, mental health, this and that, but I do think it is very much like it is a thing we need to talk about, at least especially just at least in our aspects of life. It's like having a physical condition, but also how that physical condition goes on your head.
Yeah.
Is a lot.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, like, because, I've talked to you about my depression before, and you've told me about yours, and I've talked a little bit about it on the channel here. So, whenever it's hard for you to go to the gym and you don't want to, and like you don't feel like doing shit, like how do you kind of get out of that slump?
Well, one, I do go to therapy, so like I do talk about all this thing. So like advocate that. So with that, taking that to like going to the gym when those days happen, it's telling myself something else. I may not go like today. It's not that this was throwing off, but like I do like to go work out like as much as I can.
Yeah.
Or I'd like to do something active. It's like maybe I don't go to the gym. I'm not feeling it there. I'm gonna go on a 2 mile and just walk around.
Yeah.
I have a park, and so go walk and just look at everything and breathe and remember, hey, you can walk right now. Yeah, it hurts a little bit extra, but you can walk right now. You're walking. I still just my whole thing. When you ask this, is the what is gonna just continue to keep like this, like cleaning your house, like it's the simple task.
Yeah.
It's also sometimes it's just something so simple. Like it doesn't have to be the gym or walking. You just like, clean your house, go get the mail, something like that, to where it just keeps your head off of it. And like staying busy, I found reading's good. Finding your hobby and like finding something that is not just these certain things. Work, the gym.
Yep.
Trying to go out and with your friends. It's like the comfortability of being just okay somewhere space. Like I've started reading a lot more. I play chess against myself just to keep that. I think you have to also like keep your mind working. Yeah. For something.
I totally agree with that. I was talking about this a few weeks ago on one of my solo podcasts. Like I quit skateboarding recently because it was getting too hard on my body, and ever since I quit, I've felt so empty,
Right.
Just because like, the only things that I do is like gym and work, like you were saying, and I didn't have something else that was like challenging me intellectually. So I think that's definitely a really important message to like. I think what I'm gonna try to do is like pick up the bass guitar. Yeah. Like my grandparents gave me one a few years ago for like a Christmas gift. I gave it to my older brother, and I'm like asking it back, and I'm like, I'm gonna try this out,
Yeah.
So
what's the harm gonna do? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. There's nothing bad that could come out of that.
Sure.
I mean, except like getting into like a really like crazy rock band, like like going down that bad path, who knows?
Like I think I'm gonna get into heroin.
That's what I'm saying. I don't want to say it. I don't want you to have to cut anything.
No, it's okay. I mean, it's like
it is what it is.
Yeah.
But no, man. So I don't know what else. What else questions you got? I don't know.
No, I mean, we can have it as casual or as interview-like as possible.
I mean, I think the biggest thing that I can tell anyone is like you find like your friends like you, like where you could just come into my office and talk about life. Yeah. It doesn't like you find people that just listen. Yeah. And it doesn't have to be about this. It can just be about anything. Just find people that listen and like actually you can just back things off of. You don't, me and you don't agree on everything in the world. Right. But it's also good to we do have good, healthy conversations about things.
Absolutely.
So I mean that's my main thing is like just like it's can't let this thing define us. We'll only just be defined as good people. I think we're fighters.
Yeah.
I love that. And like I was telling you earlier, it's like it's nice to have a community of your chronic illness because you can talk to people or you see like I said I was following these again but to let your audience know multiple sclerosis is a very predominant female disease, and so it's mostly females. I will tell this story. One of my friends, because I get infusions, I get Ocrevus infusions, and I remember one of the first times I went. There was this older gentleman, really a lot older, like probably, I would say probably 80s, in a room full of me being 30, and a room full of, I would say, ranging anywhere from 30 to 60-year-old. That's it. We're the males. And I remember the conversation he had with me. He was like, "What's it like to have?" They always say we got this chip disease, right? And I was like, "What do you mean?" Just because, like, it does, I mean, obviously it's not because me and you are in here. Like, I don't know what you're talking about, and I just, just remember him saying that. It's like, dude, it doesn't have to be about all that. We can just have a disease, and we're all in this, and going off of that a little bit, but even from that little, it was kind of like off-putting kind of comment.
Sure.
I met this lady who, wanted to know everything about like me and it's really nice. And like I have TikTok, I see a lot of MS. I follow a lot of MS people with it, and another guy, got two gentlemen that have it. And so it's like it's not just a chip disease, but like it's also you find a community, you find, and it is. Like I was saying, is like you do hear these certain questions like, or like things as well. At least you don't have cancer. Like, what does that mean? Like, of course. Like, I'm glad I don't. I'm glad everyone does it, but like, you're missing the point. Like, it's kind of. It sounds a little ignorant. It's like, bro, you don't know exactly what's going on. Cancer is really bad because you have to go get chemo, and you see them deteriorate. Deteriorate. That's a key word of this episode. And you see them losing their hair and everything, and that's a visual thing, but that still stuff can happen inside of us. Just because we look happy and we look a certain way, you don't see the actual thing. Like right now, like my whole these two fingers hurt really bad. Yeah. But I mean, you would think my hand works fine, and that's the biggest thing is like when I when I go like this a lot because like I've got to it still grip. That is that runs through. Like you think do people think that's healthy for us? You know what I'm saying? Like we're constantly thinking about that. Yeah. When am I not going to be able to walk anymore? When am I not going to be able to hold a ball? When am I not going to pick up my nieces and nephews? Yeah. That is a trauma in your own head. Like
it's not a physical pain while we're in this physical pain, but just because it's not cancer. So that's where we're trying to go.
Well, at least we don't have cancer.
At least we don't have cancer.
Yeah. I mean, I used to kind of like my dad. He has some pretty bad back pain as well, and we would commiserate or whatever. And like, well, I used to have both my arms and legs. Like, well, yeah. I mean, I guess so.
But it's just
it's just you just gotta take it for what it is.
Yeah. Just keep. I mean, I think a lot of times, like, it's good that, I would ask God a lot, and I know we have differing religious beliefs, and that's fine, but I would, like, why did this happen to me, and, like, what's the whole purpose, and, I've never heard a straight up answer from God or anything like that, but I just kind of got this this sense of, like, well, this did happen to you, so you might as well, like, make the best of it, and, like, there wasn't a community of with people with scoliosis, especially boys. Right. And like when I first started working out, I looked up, scoliosis back workout.
Right.
Nothing. You know, there was like
Yeah.
stuff to like do therapy and like get out of pain or like try to help your spine health, but there was nothing like, hey, let's kick ass even with our scoliosis.
Right.
So I think that's cool because like.
And then again, that the question you asked, like, why me, God?
Yeah.
It literally just answered it. Is to show people that these work and to have this.
Right.
That's your answer.
Right.
And so that's how you have to look at it.
Right.
Because you're not gonna get a straight answer.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like that is part of what you were supposed to, your greater purpose.
Yeah.
You had to have this so that way you could teach and you present and that's it.
Yeah.
You know? Even like again, and it's also even if it's on a very micro level of just maybe one or two people, maybe all of these people watching, it's still it's what you were here for, and it touched those, and it made a difference there. So that's all that matters, you know.
100%.
You don't have to make the whole world believe this or that or anything, but if you make a small amount of people just happy and be okay with what's
Mhm.
going on,
Mhm.
it makes it worth it, man.
Yeah, 100%,
It makes
man.
it worth it.
Totally agree. I'm gonna ask you a few more questions, but one of the ones I like to ask people is, what's some advice that you could give to someone who's just been diagnosed with MS and they're kind of worried and they don't know exactly what to do? About 2 years, you know, you've been going to the gym, you continue to do that, you've been very mentally strong. What's some advice that you could give to someone who just recently got diagnosed with MS and they're kind of like looking for some answers?
Find a community. Find a community. If they don't go to therapy, to go to therapy, to really to breathe for a second, to take a step back, breathe, and be okay knowing that there's nothing that you can't change that. But what you can do is find small answers out there from people that have it or are going through it, you know.
Yeah.
And to mainly breathe, man. Just like you need to recenter yourself, because you've been thrown a curveball and you're swinging, and you're down to your last strike. And what are you gonna do? You're gonna stop. You're gonna breathe, and you're gonna try to hit the ball next time. So I would say that, and find, like I said, find a community, or find someone you can ask something to. Like I said, like on the TikTok thing, it's like I know that any one of those people I could shoot a DM. Hey, what's going on? What does yours feel like?
Yeah.
What's going on with you? What trigger do you have?
Yeah.
How did you? The thing is, I think a lot of people are just afraid to ask questions. So
Mhm.
I would say just ask as much questions to anyone, really, like your neurologist, to your mom, your dad, everything.
Yeah.
Because
That's good.
yeah,
I like that, man.
so that-
That's fantastic. All right, so on those days, you know, like, do you, like, whenever your arm is, like, you know, you said it feels like it's falling asleep and it's very painful, and you said you just try to, like, do something, like, do you ever have those days where you just feel like you can't do anything, or are you always just kind of like, no, I can get through this and I can always do at least something, and, like, how did you get that mentality, if so?
I think, I mean,
I don't know if that makes sense.
It makes sense. I think it's more of like just like what am I trying to say? Personal events, like my life, just like of like everything from like high school to college to the people I've dated. Like I've kind of learned that, like, and my dad has a saying, and I have it tattooed on me. It's like, it is what it is, mijo. Which no matter what happens, life's still gonna keep going, and whatnot. And the days that I really don't know if I can do it or I can go, I tell myself to, even if I go and it's the worst workout, I still win.
Yeah.
But that's just me.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And it's gonna be somebody else, like someone like going for a walk, or them putting a ball in their house, or shooting trash. You know, something that they enjoy doing, playing video games, or something. It's like they could do it the worst, but they're doing it.
Yeah.
So it's that's one, and then two, I think when like I've just had this mentality since, you know, being diagnosed is like you know, I just can't let like go bad days. Bad days, I count for them in the aspect of like this. If I'm on a bad day, it's gonna be on a Saturday or Sunday, and that bad day is going and we go to football games and we drink and like being like kind of disguising it like, oh, I have a hangover. Mm-hmm. Oh, we were drinking, so I can't. I didn't. Of course, I'm not gonna go to the gym. Mm-hmm. I disguise my personal thing. I disguise it like that. Mm-hmm. When I have it during, I can't have it during the week because it's like my thing is I've just said scheduled it so bad is to like. Something else is gonna like I just don't let like I don't know like when I tell myself I can't, it's like I'm still gonna go for at least a mile, half a mile. I that's just me. Yeah. It hasn't hit that yet, and I hope it doesn't. But I would say when it does, because it's going to. Sure. Hopefully not. But like we're not perfect. Yeah. And there are days when those days happen. I haven't just let that part of my brain let it win yet. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? That's good. Is that because it's just that I'm not gonna let it win. I'm gonna do at least a little something. Sure. If it's going to the grocery store. Yeah. Kind of thing. It's like, okay, well, I wasn't gonna go to the grocery store any of those days, or I was like after the gym. Mm-hmm. But it's like I can't do that right now. I would go, like I just do something that I'm out. Go to the mall. Yeah. I just buy some random thing, just get it. Like I have to look at the higher. Never let anything go low. It can be stagnant in the middle, or it can just be a little bit, or a lot, but it's never gonna be below.
That's great, man. That's great. I honestly don't know how you did that because like that's pretty. I mean, it's very mentally strong of you, and just because I've definitely had those days where when I worked with you. I'm just gonna be straight up honest. I was not doing like mentally well like there. It just wasn't good, and like so on my off days, I would literally just lay in my bed and think about my back hurting until I had to get up and go like to work the next day. Yeah. Which super unhealthy. It's like
again, like I'm not gonna. But I could tell. I could tell it wasn't right for you because obviously it's a very manual. The place that you, especially in the position that you were working with in our company, is very physical demanding.
Sure. Yeah.
And you work out and you kill it there, but like you don't want to do that for 10 hours and then it's not good for you. And so I'm glad you found this and you found what you're doing now because I feel like you're a lot happier. Yeah. But I will say that talk to people. Yeah. And again. Anyone out there, wherever your stances were, it doesn't have to be therapy. It can be BetterHelp. It can be just a friend. Just talk. Yeah. Like the things that like I appreciated about it is like, I'm older than you, and I had this kind of like, older friend, kind of thing where it's like, dude, you can combine. We can talk about that. Like, we can talk about your emotions and talk about how you feel because I feel like not enough. There's a difference between complaining and all this, what's going on. Feelings wise, and then actually just having a conversation about how both people are just doing. It doesn't have to be all this other nonsense behind it. You can just be like, hey, how are you doing? Yeah. What's wrong? Yeah. And just listening. Sometimes we tell people stuff and they try to give us what they would do instead of just being like, okay. Yeah. 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 Just think heard, dude. Heard. Yeah. Gotcha. 100%. It's not. I mean. It is nice to hear their perspective, but the main thing is like I hear you first, and then I'm gonna tell you what I would do. But I hear what you're saying.
That's what I always appreciated about you, just like coming in there and talking about whatever, if it was like a girl or bull crap that was happening within the company. Like you were always you'd sit there and you'd listen. And then you'd kind of ask, you're like, well, do you want advice or do you just want me to listen? Yeah. And like I could tell you, and like a lot of the time I wanted advice, but sometimes I just wanted somebody to listen to me bitches about stuff. So. Yeah. And that's super important, man. It's great advice. Man, I really appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, of course, bro.
You should definitely be here. Yeah, we should do it again once I have mics.
For sure. Hey, man, when we have mics, we can do it again. We can chop it up more, and I would just tell everyone out there, it's gonna be okay, because you're gonna be okay, and the things are just you put it out there, and like if you just have a good mentality, you're gonna be all right. And if you don't, hit me up. We can talk about it.
Awesome, bro.